to Why Are You Awake? Paul Farahvar here, your host. This week we have comedian Claire Sundbye. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram as well. Check out my YouTube page. If you're listening to this, you can actually watch us on youtube.com/paulfcomedy. Go to my website, paulfcomedy, for upcoming dates. And most importantly, check out our sponsors. As some of you know, I used to be a practicing lawyer in Chicago. I no longer practice, but from time to time, I need a lawyer. And when I need a lawyer, I call my friend Scott Shapiro. Scott Shapiro has been practicing law for over 25 years in Chicago. He does it all, from workers' compensation to personal injury, employment issues, and even entertainment law and contract needs. If you need a lawyer, call my friend Scott. 312-648-8800. That's 312-648-8800. Or you can email him at scott@scottshapirolegal.com. Tell him I sent you. You're welcome. You love sex. Everyone does. Have you ever used sex toys? Ever wanted to? Or you just feel weird about the whole thing? Well, Love Shop Toys has been in the business of destigmatizing sex toys for years, 20 years. You want a sex toy? Go to loveshoptoys.com and check out their huge variety of options. Whether you're straight, gay, trans, whatever you're into, Love Shop Toys has something for you. And if you're uncomfortable about it, guess what? They send things discreetly so no one has to know about whatever you're into. And even if you're not very active in the sex toy business, check it out. loveshoptoys.com. They send you everything, and it's free shipping for everything over $69. In addition to the free shipping, if you use the code AWAKE69, you get 20% off your whole purchase. That's right, AWAKE69. Go to loveshoptoys.com/awake69 right now and get your stuff. Get your toys. Have some fun. You're welcome. Ready? Are you ready?
I'm
Claire?
so ready, yeah.
Hey, it's time for Why Are You Awake? This week we have comedian Claire Sundbye. Hey, Claire.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We'll see.
Okay. That's so ominous.
I think that it's funny that you first, your feet don't touch the ground when you're comfortable on the couch and you're eating
Yes.
Dairy Queen.
I
leaning into
you
the
live right next
stereotype.
to a Dairy Queen.
It's fine.
I had to do it.
There's no
My
problem
feet never
with it.
touch the floor. Rarely.
Yeah. You're small.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Thank you.
No, you don't like it?
I'm the height of an average 12-year-old boy. That's what all my sexual partners say, at least.
When I was in 8th grade, we did graduation by height.
That was back in, what, 1967?
1967,
Yeah.
right before
Everything
Kennedy
was in
was
black
shot.
and white.
Yep. And they decided the infinite wisdom of the art teacher, who is also a major Trump supporter now, ironically. She said, we're going to do it by height.
I thought you were going to say by weight at first.
Well, I was last. I was the shortest kid in my class. Actually, Patricia was shorter than me, but she's like, but I'm going to wear heels. And like, oh, okay,
that
so
bitch.
Paul. So I'm the last person. And they didn't have
You were
the
the
short
shortest
people go.
person?
Yeah, I was the shortest
Are
person
you
in
short
8th grade.
now? I can't even tell.
No, I'm like 5'9"
Okay,
above average. And so,
quarter. Okay.
well, in the country, in the world, I'm like 5'7" is average.
Oh,
Google that.
Wait, for men?
For men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone's
Including,
taller
like,
than me, so I don't know.
China and stuff like that. They're smaller there.
Okay.
But yeah, so they had me because they wanted when you filed in, you'd be last, and I was 5'1" when I was a freshman in high school.
Did you feel bad about it?
I hated being short. It was the most annoying thing. But I think women, it helped. It's a benefit. I think most people like short women.
I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I've been short my whole life. I've always been the smallest kid in my class. And I mean, I definitely like it. Like, I don't know. I like being like, on the bus. I'm like, I'm not taking up too much space.
Yeah.
But there are times where like I can't use any of the cabinets in my apartment because I can't reach them.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And like, there was a show I was helping run where they realized I couldn't reach any of the setup stuff. So there was that was an actual problem. They were like, can she be a producer? Because she can't even reach any of the stuff.
When you're coming on stage, do they lower the mic for you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I always
most people do.
I always do that.
I always do it when I'm a host. I raise it or lower it based on like whoever's coming up.
I do it too. I think when I remember.
I think it's just like a polite thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a good person. You're
Thank
from the
you.
Midwest. And it's also, you look so young. You talk about it on stage, but that's also like a benefit for you because when you are like my age, you still look young.
I like looking young because like when I go to like the mechanic, they're not like, oh, she's so stupid. They're like, she's 12. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
They're like, can I see your driver's license?
Yeah, or at the airport, like I always feel like people will help me because I'm just like, I know, I'm 13. Right. I don't know.
I want to tell you when I first saw you do stand up and how I met you. I don't think
they were gonna say
saw
me, period. I was gonna be like, yeah, I was on the playground. You were there with your camera. I remember it.
That's probably accurate. You did a set at Comedy Bar at Blake's show. I think Blake Burkhardt, friend of the show, I should say. And he was talking you up. And I was like, okay, let's see what she is. And you crushed. It was like you went up there and crushed on like it was a hard show. It's a hard show.
Thank you for saying that.
I was like, oh, what's up? And then I remember like I got your information. I like booked you for a show right after.
Actually, I do think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that was
gonna
3 years ago.
I don't know if I talked to you that night, but I did talk to you again. And then you were telling me like you hadn't done the other clubs yet or something like that.
Yeah,
I was
probably.
like, oh yeah. And then we were recommending you for different clubs and stuff. And now you're like running everything in Chicago, I feel like.
Well, thank you for saying that. I'm glad it doesn't feel like that, but.
Well, every time I'm at the Laugh Factory, you're there too.
Yeah, I'm honestly there like more than anywhere else for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I try to have like at least 5 shows booked a week.
At the Laugh Factory?
No, just like in general.
In general. Well, that's what me too.
Yeah.
That's good. So what brought you to Chicago? Was it comedy?
No, it was college. Yeah, I moved here for college in 2016. I went to theater school, Chicago College of Performing Arts. It's like kind of smaller.
What?
I talked about that and scissoring on your podcast.
What's that?
We talked about that and scissoring on your.
I remember the scissoring conversation. Yes.
But yeah, no, I moved here in 2016 for theater.
What was the school called?
Chicago College of Performing Arts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a conservatory within a university program. So
what university is it?
Roosevelt University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's how like I didn't have to do any like gen ed classes or like any of that type stuff. It's like a conservatory within it. I don't know how they got away with it, but yeah. So I moved here in 2016 for that, and I was a child actor my whole life. Like I started doing acting when I was like 5 years old. Like I did commercials in Kansas and like billboards and stuff like that. So I was always like being primed to be an actor. My mom was like, "This is your future." So I moved here to do acting, and then I started doing like sketch and improv. And I mean, I always like liked stand up, but I never would have thought in a million years that I would actually be doing this and like not doing theater. And the only reason why I really started doing stand up is because after the pandemic, like no theater things were open yet. And so I was like, oh, I'll just like do stand up and hang my hat here for a little bit until theater opens back up. So I started open micing with no intention of like actually being in the scene for a while. And so I was like kind of being a little crazy and being like, I don't really give a fuck. I'm not going to be here in a few months. And then I was like, oh shit, I actually wish I would have been more professional because I actually really like it here and I want to do this.
Do you still do anything in the acting world?
Every now and then I'll have like a friend from theater school be like, oh, because all of my friends now are like very established around the city of Chicago. So they'll be like, oh, will you do this table read? Will you do this or this? And it's never like paid. It's all just like pretty casual stuff.
And do you get to play the gamut of, you know, an adult to like, they're like,
they normally, I'm sure every time they've asked me, it's been like it's been like a little kid stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, at my college too, I normally played like younger roles.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you miss it?
I really do. Yeah.
So what are you going to do about it?
I think it's a matter of like if I could afford to pursue both. And right now, like I couldn't afford to pursue both theater and stand-up. Mm-hmm. And I think even if I was doing theater, I would have these same feelings about stand-up of like, oh, I miss it. I miss it so much. And I think the hardest thing about being an adult was realizing like you're going to have more than one passion and you have to choose.
Yeah.
Like you just have to. Like I have to have a job. I have to make money and I can't afford to do both. Yeah. And stand-up pays so much better than theater does.
Right.
Like that's just the reality of it. Like when I hear my friends that are doing shows at like, I'm not going to name names, but like very accredited theaters in Chicago. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm getting a $400 stipend for 6 weeks. I'm like, I made that in a weekend at a comedy club. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. If you hustle in comedy, you can make a lot of money.
For sure. And I think eventually I would like to do acting stuff again. Yeah. But for right now, like while I'm trying to like, I want to really make it as a stand-up and then hopefully opportunities like that can come later.
What's making it to you mean?
I want to like right now I'm 26. I'm thinking like 10 years from now, I want to be like on the road full time. I want to have management. I want to have that, even though I don't really care about it, it matters to other people. So I want to have that stupid ass blue check mark on Instagram, and I want to be able to
like buy it now.
I know, but I want to be able to like go to clubs, headline clubs around the country, and like people actually come.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking like, you know, I started stand up like 3 or 4 years ago. I want to be able to do that within the next 10 years. So that would have been doing stand up like 15 years by that point, which maybe that's too ambitious, but
no,
by my mid 30s, I want to be.
I think you're gonna be doing that earlier than that.
I hope so.
That's what your goals
really want to like have, by that point, I want to have a special out. I want to have a manager. I want to be headlining. Like, I just really want to like be able to just do that every night.
Well, what do you want a manager for?
Because I hate doing all of the email shit.
So that's agent. You need an agent.
Okay, I need an agent.
Well, those are two different things. Because I want a manager. I don't give a shit about an agent because I book my own shows. But managers are the ones that create opportunities for you. Yes. And they're like, hey, what I like a manager for is when a show gets canceled in Bowling Green and I'm stuck on the road and I'm like, what should I do?
Yes. Yeah.
And then they will be
and someone that can facilitate like the finance part of it.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, my friend Maddie Fisher, she does management for people, and it's like the work she does with like making deals for people. I'm like, God, I hate doing that, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'll have people reach out to me on Instagram of like, oh, I want to book you for this. Like, what's your rates? And it's like, I never know how to handle those questions.
So ask comedians, I'll tell you.
I normally screenshot it and send it to Tyler and Vic, and I'm like, what do I say? And then they tell me an egregious amount, and I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable asking that much. But it would just be such a ease if I could refer them to somebody else, you know.
It's a hard situation to find because there are people that will help you, but then you're like, okay, do they really want to help you because they think what you're doing is good, or because they
want something from you?
Yeah, and it's a hard line to follow because I had people that were going to manage me, and then I was like, well, wait a minute, they're just doing this to get to so and so. And I'm like, that's not a good long-term goal. So yeah, it's a hard thing to do, but like you will be doing touring and stuff. You're already doing it now as an opener.
I don't know.
I'm doing it now, but the only thing in that sense, I'm like, okay, yeah. And then you're like, and then have people show up. I'm like, fuck, I don't have that part yet. I mean, I do
feel like
sometimes.
Everyone struggles with that though.
It's such a pain in the ass.
Like, I hate that it's not just about like how good you are on stage. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, it's about all this other stuff.
It does. I mean, we were talking about that Hawk Tua girl. She's going to have her own fucking show now.
The fucking Hawk Tua girl.
She's going to have her own. We're going to be opening for her.
No, I know. I'm not going to lie. Like I've had a very rough week this week. I cried today because I got on the wrong bus and ended up in the middle of buttfuck nowhere and had to like my Uber. Anyway, Uber got declined and it was just a bad day. But the Hawk Tua girl has sent me into like a mental spiral because I'm gonna be 27 this month.
She's 21.
Yeah. And I'm just like, we work so hard. All of us as stand-up comedians, we work so hard to like to craft these jokes and to put them on Instagram and to fucking hope and pray that people like them. And it's like, oh, I could have just done that.
If you want to do this longevity wise, that's not the option.
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe she'll spin it.
They're talking about it on Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe Rogan is like the biggest thing.
Yeah. When I saw that, my immediate reaction, I told a friend of mine, I was like, I want to go outside and take a video of me taking a shit on the sidewalk and post that because like, maybe that'll go viral. If I post a video of me taking a shit on the sidewalk, I'm just like in the middle of a busy day. I mean,
I thought about when the lady got went viral for the beer can thrown at her. I thought about just having someone shoot me that I know has a good target. Just like, can you make sure you don't hit any organs?
Just shoot me like in the shoulder.
I know people. I'm like, just shoot me on the shoulder.
You do that, and I'll be outside taking a shit on the sidewalk.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would help us.
Let's do it.
I'm just got to find the right sharpshooter.
I'll shit anywhere. I honestly think that would go more viral than any of the jokes I've worked on at this point. Like, how sad is that?
I don't know if they will, because I don't know if they're allowed to show shitting.
Someone shitting on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they could find a way.
I like the way your head's at. I mean, I do think that's going to help.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep working on it.
You moved here from Kansas. You grew up in a town of how many people?
I grew up in Topeka, which was like pretty normal size. Yeah. The suburb that I lived in is Westboro, and that's like what I talk about on stage just because it's way more notable. Sorry, I'm eating my ice cream.
You're fine. Did you know any of those people from Westboro?
Oh,
like
yeah.
They were in your classes and shit?
Oh, yeah. I went to school with all of them. I grew up, like, literally in the neighborhood of their church.
Were they like that? Or Westboro Baptist Church, for those people, you can Google it. But were they like that in school, or was it just like an act?
Gonna be honest, like, I knew a lot of them personally. Like, they were in my grade. I did, everyone knew them. They were normal, friendly, super normal people. The only thing is, like, the women weren't allowed to cut their hair. And so all the girls had, like, really long hair. And like the girls weren't allowed to wear makeup. It was less noticeable with the guys, but when you would see most of the girls, it was like, oh, they're probably religious or something.
In different peer groups, like they didn't all just
they were in different peer groups for sure.
So there was like a nerdy Baptist kid. There was a jock.
It would be weird because like their family would be picketing our school. And they'd be like at school, and I'd be like, "Your family's
like, sorry,
outside."
I gotta go.
It was awkward once because like we were doing 12th night, and I was the lead. We were doing 12th night, and we had way more girls than guys in theater, so we had to gender bend a role. So there was a lesbian couple, and one of the WBC kids was on the props crew, and like her family was outside picketing us for the show every night, and she was like working on the show.
Wow.
And I was like, this isn't a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, they were very like integrated into school, like did a bunch of activities. Like,
wow,
yeah. I mean, it was so normal for me. Like, I didn't realize until I was like in middle school that not every town had that. I thought they did.
How many people are in this church?
Present day, I don't know. Because I know that they've... I mean, normally when we
like hundreds of people?
No. Okay. I mean, because they all live on a compound together. And
wait, they live on a compound together?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Okay. Yes, so the church is their house, and they all live there together.
It's like a Waco.
Yeah,
fucking
and
guy.
so my brother has been in the house a few times because he ran cross country with a bunch of the guys, and so he said that like the inside of the house was actually like super normal. I remember he told me they ate spaghetti, and I was like, that's weird because that's kind of a gay food, but they ate spaghetti there.
How's spaghetti a gay food?
Come on. You're like slurping, like there's balls.
Okay, so who is it gay for?
I was just saying, like the fact that they had that the WBC served spaghetti, that's kind of gay. You don't agree?
What are you talking about?
Because they hate gay people, and like spaghetti's kind of a gay food.
I understand that you slurp spaghetti.
It's just kind of
gay, and I understand
dude.
that they're anti-gay.
I figured they would have served like brisket or something less gay.
Let's categorize gay food so I can.
Spaghetti is a gay food.
How is spaghetti a gay food?
How is it not, dude?
Okay, if a guy is eating spaghetti, it's gay. How is it gay?
I just feel like
because there's balls.
Like, well, there's balls.
Meatballs.
Like, it's a lot of like slurping. It's like, oh, there's sauce.
But you slurp a vagina.
There's sauce on my lips. I don't know. I just picture like. I just feel you have to take my word for it. Spaghetti just is gay.
I think you can say if a guy like eats a hot dog, that's gay.
No, I feel like meat
spaghetti
is like
isn't
manly.
Gay. You think spaghetti is more gay food than a guy eating a hot dog?
I do.
Without a bun?
Because when I think hot dog, I think like you're going to see a baseball game. Like you want to watch.
No bun hot dog is more gay than spaghetti.
Without the bun, yeah, that's gay.
Okay.
Wait, the original question you asked me was how many members? Normally I would see like, I don't know, maybe 15 of them on the corner. Okay. Some days down to 8, but normally like probably 12 would be the median number.
And you said that your brother went in there was normal.
Yeah.
They ate spaghetti and they had like what posters on the wall. They obviously couldn't have posters.
No, they actually, this is what I remember him telling me is that it was normal inside. Because I remember, because my brother was on cross country with them and everyone had to have like host a team dinner and everyone was kind of weird when it got to their turn. And my mom was like, oh shit. Like
they weren't like hot soda maybe. They weren't allowed to have pop or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know if they were allowed to have sugar. No, actually they were allowed to have sugar because I remember the girl in my class,
gay,
she was always like making cupcakes and stuff for the class. But
cupcakes are gay.
Yeah, cupcakes are gay for sure. But yeah, my brother went and I remember when he got home, I was really young because he was in high school. So I would have had to been like 7 or 8, but I do remember this is that he said that there were nothing indicating inside their views. So I don't know, maybe they put their shit away or something.
When the people
but
they push a button and then all the crazy shit comes
and
out
then it's like God hates fags. Yeah, spaghetti's gay.
I can't imagine and you had like a normal how big was your high school?
I honestly am so bad at
like
numbers.
Over 100 class. Well, you know your grade like
in
when
my
you got
grade,
your grades, didn't they?
I don't know how many were in my grade. Maybe like 100 people.
Okay.
Less than that.
Didn't you get your class ranking at the end of the year, like where you graduated?
No.
They didn't say like you're 300 out of 391,
no.
like I was.
No.
Okay. Were you a good student?
I was a great student. I was voted most
Straight A's?
outstanding senior woman. I gave the speech at graduation. I was class president. I was voted homecoming queen.
Oh, so you're like a super go-getter.
Yes, I was a super overachiever in high school. Like yearbook editor, the lead in every single play, volunteer initiative, mentors program. I was like, I did no sports. I did
cheerleading?
I did all of the leadership stuff. And then I was in our acting troupe, which put on like improv shows. And then I did all the plays. I did choir. I was really into like volunteer initiative and like our mentoring program and student leadership. Like I planned all the dances, all the proms and stuff.
But you knew you were going to go into acting. So
I always was. I didn't have any interest in sports, and you couldn't really
like
do
other majors. Did you have any like backup plan if you weren't going to be an actor?
No.
Your parents were obviously supportive of that.
Yeah, no, I think they would have been unsupportive if I didn't want to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, because you did it for all your life.
I think it's because I was the youngest, and my older siblings chose very stable careers where they were going to be set. And so for me, the youngest, they were kind of just like, all right, let's do it.
What's
let's
the
try.
age gap difference between you and your brothers?
My brother, I'm 26, he's 33. So my sister is 29.
So it's like, that's a big...
Yeah, so my brother went to a really, really good college, a private university in Kansas on like, I believe like mostly scholarship for business, super stable career path. He like now runs his own business, is very successful. Sure. And my sister is a nurse. Okay. And so that was always what she wanted to do. And so for me, they were kind of just like, yeah, she's like the weird artsy one, like do whatever.
But they supported it if you were doing this since you were 5. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I honestly think if I would have gone to them my senior year and been like, I don't want to do acting, they would have been like, what?
We've done all this.
Yes, they would have been
money.
like, yeah, they would have been like, no, you're being an actor. Yeah.
So you're a great student. Were you like a popular kid then too?
Yeah,
or
I was homecoming queen. I was I was really popular.
And did no one thought you were weird because you were doing all this weird shit, like all this like leadership stuff? They weren't like...
No, actually, the popular kids of my high school when I was there were like the Stuco kids. Okay. Actually, yeah.
What's
the student council? Yeah.
When you were homecoming queen, did you talk about this already? Did you know you were gay then or no?
That's a whole... We got into this in your singles only. Yeah.
But these people...
I think every gay person that grew up in like a super heteronormative like small town is probably going to say the same thing of like... I don't actually know. I shouldn't speak for anybody else.
You can. You already spoke for Mom on the Spaghetti.
Yeah, Spaghetti's gay. I feel like when I realized that I was gay when I was 19, it was less of a realization and more of like remembering something that I'd like really deeply repressed. But if you had asked me when I was 16 years old, are you gay? I actually had a few people ask me that when I was in high school because I never dated. I would have been like, fuck no. Are you kidding me? And I would have actually like believed that.
So what were you doing in high school that like that would keep you up? You said you were always a night owl.
I have always been a night owl since I was an infant.
What were you doing in Kansas? Everything closes at 8 there, I assume.
Let's start when I was a baby.
Okay.
So my mom to this day, she says that every single time she went to check up on me as an infant, she said I would never be crying, but I would be staring at her wide awake. Yeah. She says she never fucking saw me slept. She was like, it was bizarre. She was like, it was creepy. You were just staring at me.
I mean, it would be creepy if you saw a small baby.
Just staring at you with like my big ass eyes. Yeah. And I've always been like that for us. The people that can just go to sleep, that's crazy to me.
Well, let's go back. Okay, so as a kid you were awake. Do you remember anything in your childhood before high school where you were up late and you should have been asleep? Like your parents were letting you watch TV and you're like, wait, why are you fucking watching Cinemax at 12 years old or something like that?
When I was a little kid, I would like get into trouble when I was up late. Like there was like this one time where I was probably 3 or 4 and everyone in my house was asleep and I waited until everyone was asleep. And my mom loves this story. I crawled out of my crib and I went down to the kitchen and I stole a bunch of Hershey's Kisses. And then I crawled back into my crib and I unwrapped all of them. It was like 30 of them. I unwrapped all of them and then I fell asleep into the chocolate. And then my mom woke me up to go to church, actually, and she thought I had pooped and smeared it onto my face.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. My brother loves the story about how my mom was, like, shaking and be like, did you poop on your face? Why is there poop on your face? And I didn't want to tell her that I like.
So you just said, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. And then she was like, why does it smell good? Like, what is this?
Jeez, this
So
is a golden baby.
I remember when I was like, my earliest memories as a kid are being like, oh, I can't wait until they go to sleep. And then I'm going to like go downstairs and like do stuff that I shouldn't be doing.
So
like,
you
get into
wait
stuff.
till people went to sleep. That's mischievous of you.
Yeah, I just wanted to like go through stuff.
Because you'll go out like now as an adult, like I'll be eating dinner in a town and you'll see this family and there'll be a 4-year-old kid at midnight up eating, you know, pancakes at Waffle House with their kids. Your parents weren't doing that, obviously, or were they?
Well, my dad was a doctor. And he was
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was like a hospitalist in my early childhood. So he was like, he would spend the nights at the hospital, and there were a lot of times when he was working nights, he would actually bring me with him and set me up in like a patient's room. And so I would stay up really late when I was doing that, and that was like pretty frequently. So I guess in a way, yeah, they were kind of like that.
Yeah. When you stay up late, are you waking up early anyway, or are you sleeping in? Do you need sleep?
I only wake up like 10 minutes before I have to be somewhere.
Okay.
And unfortunately, like I work a job, so, and I have to like leave my house by like 9 a.m. So right now I wake up at like 8:50.
So where do you make up your sleep then?
The days that I don't work, I sleep for like tomorrow I don't work. I'm sleeping for 14 hours. Yeah.
Were you staying up late with your friends, or were you the only one that was up late?
In high school, that's when technology truly came out. I remember in high school I got an iPad, and I would stay up till 2 a.m. watching American Horror Story every night. Like I was
by yourself.
Yes. I don't know why. Like I would know that I needed to sleep, but just something in my brain around like midnight is just like, right. Like this is the time, you know? And so I would just get that second wind every night, no matter how. And then it was so bad in high school that I remember I was taking those like micro naps where you like fall asleep. Like I would shake yourself awake. I would do that like regularly in class, where I would like be like having those all the time.
Were you drinking coffee in high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't start drinking coffee until I was like in law school. Like,
oh really?
No, but I would just suck it up. I was never a morning person in high school. I would be tired all the time because I'd be up late.
Yeah,
but
high school was rough. When I think back to it, I'm like, I don't know how I didn't have like a breakdown with like the way I was sleeping like 5 hours every single night. I don't know how I did that. You seem like you would drink Mountain Dew.
I drank a lot of Mountain Dew.
You have that energy.
What does that mean?
I'll leave it up to the people.
Oh, in high school?
Yeah.
Was I a bro?
No, you just seem like you have that energy.
I don't drink Mountain Dew now.
Yeah, I'm just saying you seem like you have like a...
I don't know what that means.
Okay. This is another spaghetti is gay thing. We're just not going to get it. You just have Mountain Dew energy.
Who else has... Give me another example of someone famous that has Mountain Dew
energy. That has Mountain Dew energy?
Yeah.
Sam Morril. He has Mountain Dew energy.
Oh, Sam Morril.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'll take that. That's good company.
As
long as you didn't say like the guy from the fucking... Who's the guy who...
I'm like, Hoptua.
Chef. The guy who has the bleached blonde hair and goes to like... diners.
Guy Fieri?
Yeah, I thought if you were going to say him and me, this thing would be over right away. I'd be like, we're done here.
No, Guy Fieri has the energy of the guy that would like put the Mentos in the Coke can and shake it up. Yeah.
You say you can remember functioning in high school. Were you like just a zombie?
I mean,
a drama class
I was functioning.
Okay.
But like, I don't know how. Because now, like, I didn't get much sleep last night or the night before that. And all day I've been like, I'm going to have a breakdown all day. And then I would go like 5 nights in a row of like getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep. And then I'd be at school from like 7:30 to 3:30 and then go to rehearsal till 6:30 p.m. and then like work a shift at my job at the dinner theater. Like I would be going all day and then come home.
No medication?
No, I was not on like anything like that. And I would be doing all this while being like positive and pleasant and like full of energy. Like all my friends in high school would describe me as like the most energetic person.
Yeah. Were you ever out late at night too, like partying?
No, I never drank. I never partied.
When did you start drinking?
College.
Okay.
In high school, I like never did anything like that.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah.
You saw the movie Election with Reese Witherspoon?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's
young. Who you remind me of. I mean, it's a fucking classic movie.
Oh.
But yeah, it is an old movie. Fuck you.
Wait, is that the movie where...
She runs for
I think I have seen
it for president. She's like a super go-getter.
Seen the poster
you remind
for that
me
or
of.
something.
That's who you would have been
Thank you.
high school. Well, it's a dark comedy with Matthew Broderick. It's
yes, okay, yeah,
movie.
that's what I was thinking of.
That's who I picture you as.
Thank you.
You have a Reese Witherspoon in Election energy.
I'll have to watch that tonight when I can't sleep and see if that's a compliment or not.
It is. I think. So you get to college, you're staying up late still, but now you have other people doing the same thing. Are you hanging out with them, or are you like introverted and still?
In college?
Yeah.
No, in college I was definitely like raging, but my college was different. I had 16 classmates in my like cohort, my acting majors. But it was like every weekend we were out, and like the conservatory schedule is intended to be grueling. So our classes would go 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. And then we would have rehearsals from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. every night. And then I was working a job on Saturdays and Sundays. And we also had like, it's kind of confusing. We all had like a certain amount of hours we had to put in on the weekends with like paint crew or props crew and stuff. So we were like scheduled to like the max, but somehow we found time to like get fucked up multiple nights a week.
Right.
And when I look back to college, there were so many nights where I would like sleep 1 hour like each night, and like go to classes, go to rehearsals, and then go get fucked up that night and be like, how did I do that?
But you were also like, these classes were drama classes, right? Like you guys were doing like fun stuff.
Well, fun, but also a lot of it was like emotionally taxing. And it was a lot of like
one class is just crying 101.
Yeah, honestly. And we had a lot of like Shakespeare classes. So it was a lot of like textual analysis of plays.
Okay.
Like half of our classes were like on your feet doing stuff, and the other half were like, okay, we're reading and writing and doing like what is it? Like the different analysis of plays.
Scripts.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But I feel like college was when I started having to take sleeping pills to fall asleep. Like freshman year, that's when I started. I truly couldn't fall asleep. Yeah. So that's when I started taking sleeping pills, and I have taken them ever since then.
You still take them now?
Yeah, I'm not. Like, it's bad. Like I shouldn't be doing this.
Melatonin or something?
But I alternate between. This is probably really bad. I alternate between melatonin, Benadryl, Unisom.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'll crush up a muscle relaxer. They're prescribed and put it in a sleepy time tea.
This is why I have stomach issues.
I shit all the time. I cannot sleep if I don't take something to go to sleep.
Is it because you're still like your brain is still functioning?
Yes, I'm like wired.
That's how I am.
Like I tried the other day to not. It wasn't the other day. It was like a week ago or several weeks ago. But I tried to not take one. I had like a super full day. I went to work. Yeah. I did a bunch of shows. I had gotten 6 hours of sleep the night before. I was like, there's no reason, and I'd had no caffeine because I gave up caffeine a few months ago. Jesus. So I was like, there's no reason why I shouldn't fall asleep. I got in bed at midnight. I got up at 6 a.m. to take a sleeping pill because I had lied there from midnight to 6 a.m. not even being close to falling asleep.
I do this all the time. For me, and I've talked to other people on the podcast too, the thing that I need to do is you got to get your brain to shut off, right?
I can't. My brain is, I can get my brain to shut off during the day. Like if it's
what
daytime.
What do you do to get your brain to shut off during the day?
I don't know. During the day, it's just easier.
So like I'll watch mindless television and I'll fall asleep. As long as I'm not invested in the show. Yeah. Or if I've already seen the show or the movie, I'll fall asleep. But if it's anything that's remotely good, I stay up.
For sure. But I saw a therapist when I was in college, primarily for my sleeping problems, because whenever it's time to go to sleep, I'm actually going to be really vulnerable. This is like, I don't talk about this because it's embarrassing, but whenever it's time to go to sleep, I get really, and my grandpa suffered from paranoid delusions and like saw hallucinations and stuff. And then my dad has OCD and paranoia, and something kicks in my brain where when it's time to go to sleep, I get extremely paranoid, and I convince myself that if I fall asleep, someone is going to break into my apartment and rape and murder me, and that if I'm awake, my chances of escaping and surviving are much better. And like I will straight up fall asleep and they'd be like, someone's in the apartment. And
that's like the only fear that you have?
Yes. I am like I wake up multiple times throughout the night because I think someone's in my apartment. And like it's been like this for forever. It's like extreme OCD intrusive thoughts, and I even like have installed like a security system in my apartment. And also, you're gonna think I'm really crazy, I sleep with multiple weapons in my bed, like actual real weapons.
Guns?
No, I sleep with a pocket knife and a medieval mace.
A bat too? We have a bat.
No, but I have a machete and I have a medieval mace and I have a pocket knife and I have pepper spray, and I sleep with all those things.
What about a sword?
No, I don't have a sword. Well, I guess the machete kind of.
I have these in case people get out of hand.
No, mine are in my bed with me.
Names.
And that way, if someone comes in, I could take it and I could hit them with it.
If you didn't have to wake up for your job, you'd sleep in, right? Oh,
yeah.
Once you sleep, you're fine.
If I didn't have to.
The paranoia falls.
Yeah, if I didn't have to have a job job and I could just do stand up full time, I would be falling asleep at like probably 7 a.m. every night, waking up at 3 p.m. That would be my routine.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have that sometimes, but then don't you feel bad though?
Like I feel like a piece of shit. I feel like a piece of I just burped. I feel like a piece of shit. When you wake up and people have been like, hey, want to get lunch? And I'm like, sorry, I just woke up.
Yeah, they don't understand. Like people, do you have friends that are non-comedians still?
All of my friends are like regular people that like don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand it at all.
And it's funny because they'll be like, can you meet us at 10 a.m.?
Yeah, I'm like, no. And then they think that I'm lazy when it's like, okay, I'm actually like I'm getting less sleep than you are. Yeah.
It's a fucked up situation too. And my family really doesn't understand it. Like when the kids, I have nieces and nephews, they're like, why can't we meet at 10 a.m.? I'm like, dude.
What time do you wake up every morning? Because you don't have a day job right now, do you?
I haven't had a day job since 2020. I usually get up between 11 and 12.
Okay, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm up like last night. Last night was the first time I slept in my own bed in like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I was like excited, and I was so tired. Same thing you were talking about before, where like I had to check out of my hotel the night before. I had to move my car at 7 a.m. So I didn't get any sleep. I had 5 hours of sleep. I had a full day. I was exhausted. I'm like, oh, I'm going to fall asleep like when I didn't fall asleep till 6 a.m.
Why are we like this? Like,
well, our brains don't shut off.
I don't understand people like they can just fall asleep.
Well, I think also you got to remember you're working. It takes a while for you to shut down, even if you didn't have your paranoia and other sleep issues. For other comedians, it's hard to fall asleep. I mean, you're wired after your show for a
I'm
while.
like the adrenaline rush.
Yeah. So what are you doing after the shows now? Like, let's talk about a typical night if you didn't have this podcast. I know, by the way, last time you were going to do the podcast, you're like, oh, I have plans after. And then I think this was last week. And I saw Jonah. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm meeting with Claire. I'm like, well, that's your fucking plan?
I'm sorry, we
hanging
had plans.
Hanging out with Jonah over the podcast? Give me a fucking break.
No, we had decided that I needed a fun night out. Okay. And so,
And you picked Jonah?
I did.
Because I remember we were both on the same show. And I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm meeting Claire. I'm like, oh, this was her fucking
I'm
plan?
sorry. That's why it was vague. That's why I was vague with you. I was like, I have plans.
Jonah? You could wait half an hour.
No, I'm busy. I only let myself drink like once a week now. I don't do coffee at all. I don't do hard liquor at all. I only drink beer.
Because you were having stomach stuff.
Yeah, I had gastroesophageal reflux disease, like really severe.
Better now?
I mean, it's something that I'm going to have to like manage, you know, like I'll have flare ups and like you saw it was really, really bad because I lost my voice for like so long because of the acid like burned my vocal cords. Like it was the doctor was like, I only see this in like elderly men. I was like, you didn't need to tell me that part. So I had to spend like several weeks like eating so clean and stuff.
So it's gotten better? Yeah.
I spent 2 months like basically like not doing any shows. And then I still like have things I have to like do. Like I have I still have like pretty big lifestyle changes. I had to like the fact that I'm eating ice cream. This is like a very, very special occasion. Yeah.
But so let's talk about after shows now. So typically, let's talk about the 6 nights a week where you're not going out.
Yes.
Because you're only doing once a week.
Yeah, only one night a week.
What are you doing after shows now? Typical Claire Sundbye night.
Typical Claire Sundbye night?
After a show.
Okay, after a show, I always eat dinner after a show. Okay. So I'm going to take the bus. If I had a good show, I'm going to be listening to music thinking, wow, I'm the greatest comedian alive. If I had a bad show, I'm going to be listening to music being like, I'm embarrassing.
Same music or is it different?
Same music. Okay. Being like, I'm embarrassing. Hardcastle, Knox, Creeper, Blackfield Brides.
Don't know any of this stuff.
You wouldn't, yeah.
I'm a music snob. Those are all horrible bands.
I'll make you a playlist.
No, that's okay.
But I go home, I eat dinner, I watch a horror movie.
That's so weird. You can't sleep. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I go home, I eat dinner, I watch a horror movie. Typically, I do like cleaning or like laundry or some like thing. Okay, this is kind of embarrassing, but I don't think I've ever told you this. I actually like I love making music. So normally every night I like spend some time on like a song, whatever song I've been working on my little ukulele. I normally do like spend like an hour doing that every night. And then I have a lengthy skincare routine. I always shower before bed. I put on cozy pajamas.
For the person that's going to break into your house?
Yes, exactly, yeah. And then I normally try to get in bed around like 12:30 or something, but...
First of all, the ukulele thing, are you a musician or you just taught yourself how to play ukulele?
Well, I was always like in choir, like my whole life. Yeah. So
Do you have perfect pitch?
No, I have a pretty good ear. Like I'm self-taught with ukulele, and I can normally like listen to a song a few times and then like figure it out, figure out like the keys and like the strumming patterns. Sure. So I like love doing that.
When are you writing like for comedy? Are you writing when you're after shows, or when are you productive or creative? I guess I should say.
Normally when I'm laying in bed. Normally like
after, you mean at nighttime? Okay.
I feel like for me, I'm not one of those people where I can sit down and write.
Right.
I can't really force it. All of my stand-up ideas normally are when I'm on the bus, actually, when I'm like commuting to a show or like commuting to work. That's normally when I'm like, oh, I had this idea that I thought of. Let me like write down some things in the notes section of my phone. And then normally like when I'm trying to fall asleep, that's always when I have so many nonsense voice memos at 3 a.m. of me being like, okay, but listen, Tony the Tiger is actually hot. Like, go with that. Like, oh, there's just shit like that.
And it doesn't make sense until you wake up. Yeah. As far as personal relationships you have like with your family and friends or significant others, have you been able to like adapt with your schedule, like seeing people in the normal world, or not really?
I have not had a girlfriend since I was in college, and so when I was with my girlfriend then, it was easy because like my school forced me to have like a kind of a routine. But I have actually thought now, like, I don't know if I could date anybody because my routine is so weird. Well,
one time we were talking, you're like, I'm going on a date.
Oh yeah.
So what happened?
I was casually dating like 3 or 4 women at the same time. None of it worked out.
Were they like, they had regular schedules and shit, like 9 to 5
Yeah,
jobs?
I mean, it wasn't the schedule thing. I just like wasn't feeling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that also helps too. That does harms when you can't
I
see
always
people.
am like, if I'm with, this is gonna sound mean, I don't mean it to, but like when I'm on a date and I'm like, oh, I'd kind of rather be like alone, then I'm like, I should not be doing this.
I feel like that's how we're always gonna be. Right? Because I feel like sometimes I'll have plans, but if so, I'm secretly being like, I hope they cancel.
Oh, all the time.
I just want to I'm like in the middle of doing something productive. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this flyer or whatever productive bullshit that we have to do. I'm
taking this big shit.
That counts. You love taking shits.
It's like my whole thing. Yeah.
How many times are you shitting a day?
Today was bad. Today was like 6 or 7.
What are you eating?
Other than that ice cream, I eat I eat healthy now. More
shitting or less shitting with the healthy?
Same amount.
Okay.
Same amount.
Just a lot quicker?
Yeah. Yeah, like today I ate baby food for breakfast.
What?
I ate baby food.
You eat baby food?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's just like adult yogurt.
It's like Gerber?
Yeah.
You buy it?
Yes,
I
buy
eat it.
I don't steal it. Yeah, I buy it.
And okay, every day you do this?
No, just like...
Where did you get this idea?
I don't know. I've always eaten baby food.
I don't even...
What's wrong with that? It's just like applesauce. It's inexpensive.
Is it cheaper than applesauce?
It's like, yeah, actually, the kind that I get, it's like a pack of 2 and it's like $2. I get like the banana blueberry one. It's really good. So I ate that this morning.
Okay. And then so you eat baby food, and then what's your next meal? Please don't say it's like fucking Go-Gurt.
No.
Changing gears. Do you ever have a situation where you're out? What's happening in Claire's world when you have a night out?
So tomorrow night is actually my night out, Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. I always do it on a day when I don't have to work the next morning. Okay. Just so I can sleep the whole day the next day.
Okay. So you're still eating dinner after the show.
So tomorrow, like the plan is I'm meeting a friend like after the show at a bar. So normally I eat dinner before the show if I'm going out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because
this is all planned
so
out.
I normally plan, like I always eat dinner before the show. I always eat dinner and shower. Normally I shower at night, but if I'm going out that night, if it's my I shit, shower, and eat dinner before the show. And then do the show, and then we rage.
And what's a rager to you?
4 beers.
That's it?
4 beers and taking a picture of my vagina in the bathroom to send to nobody.
Oh, how many vagina pictures do you have on your phone?
I have a lot.
Aren't they all the same?
No.
What makes them different?
You know they change every day.
What do you mean?
They change color. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I'm sure that there's shaving things that have to happen, but isn't it
It's pretty much the same. Yeah.
Okay.
But
it's just like a routine.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for doctors because
yes, exactly. Like, it's good for my self-esteem in the moment.
Growth.
In the moment, I'm like, damn,
if there's
this
a
looks
mole,
great. No one's ever going to see it. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, did I take a picture of my vagina last night? Okay.
That means
I'm like,
it's a good night.
Yeah. And I always like never remember getting home. But I'm such a lightweight. I'll drink like 4 or 5 and I truly will be like, I don't remember anything.
You're going out with people who are responsible.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you saw I went out with Jonah.
Well, he's not responsible.
But he like made sure I got home.
Yeah. So the nights that before when you were raging all the time, it was the same thing. It was just instead of 1 night a week, it was 7 nights a week of after shows.
I mean, when I was in college, I was raging all the time.
4 beers.
And no, in college, it was like Fireball, Malibu, like disgusting.
Who's the Mountain Dew Energy now?
All right, fuck off. Yeah, but
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in college, I was like drinking so much I was throwing up all the time.
Yeah, that's healthy. What about now? What were you doing after shows before you had to make the health decisions? You were just going out drinking every night?
No, I was like not that unhealthy. I feel like pre the GERD diagnosis, I was probably like getting drunk 3 nights a week, which for an average person, that's a lot. For a comedian and for the people that I'm around, it's not a lot. Yeah.
That's what people forget too. When I was drinking every night when I was a musician and then later as a comedian, people were like, that's a lot. We're like, do you know how many times I turned down drugs and alcohol?
Yes.
Like there was nights where I was like, for the amount of drugs that I did, it was like 1/10 of the
No, seriously. I mean, literally every night I'm like, no, I'm good. And I don't like judge them for it, but like I see people drinking every single night. Yeah.
Or alcohol.
But yes, I was probably getting drunk 3 nights a week.
Yeah. Is there anything that you feel like being a comedian or being a late night person, you feel like you miss out on anything in this lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, like
what are you missing?
I think nothing that I miss, but I guess I just feel misunderstood when people think it's a lazy thing. Mm-hmm. That's probably the most frustrating thing for me is when I'm like, oh, I just woke up and everyone's like, oh my God, like you're so lazy.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, I'm not. Like I probably got less sleep than you. So that's always been the most frustrating part to me is that for whatever reason, nighttime people are just not seen as like valid or whatever. I don't know.
Well, we're prejudiced against in every way too.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
stores
seriously,
are closed, options to eat, especially in small towns. I was in Knoxville and Lexington this week in Kentucky. It's like there's nothing going on after shows. You're like, how are we going to get food? You have to go to Speedway.
True. That's frustrating. You should get baby food.
Yeah.
Keep it with you.
Oh God!
I'm gonna make you try the one that I get. It's really good.
I'm allergic to bananas, so
are you really?
Have the banana flavor.
Oh, how do you suck your boyfriend's dick?
Always with the gay comments. I don't. We just eat spaghetti together.
Yeah, that's good.
We are out of time, Claire.
Oh no.
I did have so many more questions.
Well, I'll have to come back.
I'm gonna start asking people if they think what the gayest food is.
Yes,
gonna be a segment.
I'm telling you, people are gonna say spaghetti or enchiladas.
Enchiladas.
That's a gay food.
For men or women?
For everybody.
How is it? Explain really quick.
I can't. It's just the essence of these foods.
Claire, where can people find out more about your upcoming shows and stuff?
On all social media. Actually, I don't have Twitter, but on Instagram and TikTok, I'm Lil Shrimp Snack. LIL Shrimp Snack.
We'll put it right here.
Yeah, Lil Shrimp Snack.
Okay. Well, thanks, Claire, for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I think things work out for you.
I hope and think things will work out for you as well.
God bless. Thank you for joining the podcast. Thank you for listening or watching the podcast, everyone. Go to sleep.